Well, let's see. What do we got in hybrids? The two camels. Maybe not so much of a surprise. You mix the two camels together and you get a cross which is bigger than both of them. It's fascinating. And then you mix the vicuñas and the llamas and you get an alpaca. That's usually what people raise in the United States and say they're llamas. Okay, that's actually a hybrid of two different species. And we've done all the other crosses too. And in 1998, we crossed successfully a camel with a llama to get a comma. Rama the comma. Okay, and there's a reason they're doing this, by the way. The wool of the camel is amazing insulation value, but it doesn't produce very much of it. Look at that. I mean, you want something that produces a lot of the good stuff. So what they're hoping is that they cross these two and get a lot of the good stuff. Actually, they got not much of the bad stuff. But, they continue to work on that kind of thing. So what we have here is evidence that this is evidence that would suggest that these two species are very closely related. They haven't been separated very long. That makes sense in evolutionary theory. These two haven't been separated very long. That makes sense. It becomes a little more difficult when you start doing this, and this is a mind-boggler. 40 million years they've been separated, and they can still interbreed successfully. We don't know yet whether this is viable in terms of being able to produce offspring, but this one can, and these can. In fact, most interspecific hybrids are fertile. Not only are interspecific hybrids common, but most of them are fertile. Fascinatingly enough, the hinny, which is the opposite of the mule, I can't remember which is which. The male. Well, no. It's whether it's the horse, it's the female horse and the male donkey that's a mule. But you do it the other way around, and you get a hinny, and they're all reproductively fertile. And 1 in every 1,000 mules is actually fertile. So fertility is more common than infertility in these things. And this whole family can cross. So the entire family seems to be one created kind. We show this in a diagram like this. A black square would indicate a successful cross. Obviously, a known cross. Obviously, a vicuña with a vicuña is a cross, and a llama with a llama glama, and a guanaco, and a dromedary, and a Bactrian. They obviously interbreed with their own species. But then we've also crossed these particular ones, and indirectly, because we've crossed a vicuña with a llama and a llama with a, you can then fill in the rest by indirectly, gray. So we have every cross known here, suggesting that the entire family is very closely related, diverged probably into the species we see here very recently, which is consistent with doing so after the flood. Horse family, got 9 species in the present. We have lots of hybrids, hinnies and mules, and of course we got zebroids, zorses, and all sorts of crosses here, all sorts of fun-looking things. Zebroids, of course we got the intraspecific, and we have the known crosses between, and we got every possible cross is either directly or indirectly made in this process. So all 9 species of horse in the present have evidence of having been recently diverged from a common ancestor, which is consistent with this hypothesis. It gets wilder when you get to bigger groups. The duck family, the anatids, the ducks, swans, and geese in the world. There are 149 species of ducks, swans, and geese in the world. 80% of the species can interbreed. 85 of the species can interbreed with another species in the same family. 8 of the 13 tribes, here are the 13 tribes, and 8 of the tribes can interbreed. The only ones who haven't been known to have 1 species, 1 species, 1 species, 1 species, 3 species. It's probably because no one's tried, or they're rare examples. So most probably the entire family can interbreed, suggesting the entire duck family is probably a single created kind. So 2 ducks waddled off the ark to produce 149 species of ducks, swans, and geese in the present world. I suggest that children know this. Young children know this. And it's most amazing. This is a whole new field of biology opening up, by the way. I suggested a number of years ago that I was fascinated by the fact that the first time my oldest saw a duck was in a cartoonish form in 2 dimensions on a piece of paper. Okay? Duck, 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 duck. Walked down to the river at the base of the hill. She saw her second duck, which is actually a goose. And she said, duck. It's amazing that, you go from 2-dimensional cartoon to a 3-dimensional animal, and they do that. And of course, I wanted to correct her. Goose. Now, that's a goose. But I knew that if I did that, I'd have to explain what the difference is between a goose and a duck, and I didn't know. So I withheld that. And also down at the bottom of the hill, there were some hybrids between different species of ducks. There were some really ugly ducks down there. The most hideous combinations. Splotchy, yeah. And they were all ducks. And my daughter didn't have any problem calling all of those ducks, but she didn't call a loon a duck. The loon, she wanted to know what that was. I just wondered, why do you not call that a duck? It looks like a duck, doesn't it? No, it's a different body form. I believe God has put within the human brain a recognition of the created kinds. So Adam, when he named the animals, knew immediately that is. And I believe we can identify the created kinds by studying children. Sorry, that doesn't sound quite right. That's a whole other field of biology I created called cognitum research, cognitology. Now here's a family of grass. Now you can't see these little itty bitty numbers over here. This is a tribe of grass with 3,000 some species. Here's another tribe with 1,300 species. Here's another tribe with 1,100 species. Here's another. They got decreasing numbers of species in each of the tribes, but these are the tribes of the family Poaceae. Lots of grass species. So it's in decreasing diversity going down. These are crosses between tribes of grasses. This is mind-boggling, suggesting that, and indirect crosses,